To play more on the game from '79 as we move along, but for the second intermission, our focus is going to be the NHL labor woes. Scott Morrison, sports editor of the Toronto Sun, joins me here in Toronto, where we are. The latest word from the Players Association with respect to the NHL Board of Governors' decision today. They have voted 19-7 to reject the players' final offer, quote unquote. We haven't heard much from the PA. What have you heard, Scott?
Well, officially, they're not going to make a comment tonight, and according to the press release they put out, they don't foresee themselves making a comment in the near future, which doesn't speak very well. And the players that we've talked to this evening are very disappointed and pretty much are of the opinion that the season is over. We'll
get to your analysis and see if you concur with that in just a second. Jim Houston is the voice of the Vancouver Canucks for CKNW Radio. It's a beautiful job to replace Jim Robson, Jim, if you ever get to start it. What is it like 8,000 kilometers away from New York City? Have you any vibe about what's happened, and what's personally your reaction?
Well, first of all, yes, we have had some reaction out here, and I suppose that some of it is guarded in that some players are suggesting they want to know all of the details and want to hear from the association before they really have an opinion on it, although I have heard a couple of pessimistic views as well. I suppose that the two contentious issues that I see jumping out off the page right away are the 32-year-old free agency instead of 30 that the players wanted, and the draft age up to 20, which might allow the owners to have control of player salaries well into the late 20s for some players. But I don't know. They seem like they're this far apart now. Is the whole season worth letting go when they're that close?
Well, Jim, that's a big question, though. Are they just this far apart? Because the biggest issue all along seemed to be, and Scott, I'll ask you this, Bob Goodenow saying we cannot accept the luxury tax. The owners, it's as if they're saying, all right, we'll give in on that. We're going to give you back no tax, which was never in place in the first place. So and to me, it looks like the players have to deal with all these other items that the owners have put on compared with their final offer. Can it fly?
Well, when you look at the give and take, the owners have said we just won't take as much as perhaps we asked for earlier, and the players have given an awful lot. I don't believe the rhetoric we hear out of New York today and have heard all the way through. The players have given a lot, and don't kid yourself and believe anything else. You talk to some player agents and they'll tell you how much has been given up, because for now and the future there's going to be a real drag on salaries. Not what the owners wanted from the tax, but it will still be sufficient. I think what happened today, maybe they're that close, but the players put back a proposal, a final offer. Had there been some fine-tuning, I think there would have been a very good possibility for an agreement, and maybe a quick one within the next 24 hours. But instead, the owners sent back a counter-proposal with 7 or 8 changes, some of them significant. As Huey said, the 30 to 32 on the unrestricted free agency, it's only 2 years, but as one player said tonight, it might as well be 20. It's hard for us to all grasp the issues and the magnitude of them, but rest assured they are very severe, and the players are not very happy right now.
So you're very pessimistic?
I've been an optimist all along, Ron, and even as far as this afternoon, I thought that we'd have an agreement. But right now, barring one of the sides really willing to cave in and negotiate, I don't see us having a season effective Tuesday.
I think public reaction, I know at the World Junior Championships, Jim, when I was in Red Deer, people are fed up with the players and the high salaries, and you've heard a lot about billionaires versus millionaires and can't stand any of this. That's one sentiment that seems to be out there, as people are almost sick of the thing. And the other is, I can't believe myself that Bob Goodenow and Gary Bettman haven't been in a room together since December the 6th. What are your feelings on that?
Well, I think pretty much they have been in the room together, in that even though they backed off, and perhaps their egos were getting in the way, and it was a good idea that they backed off and let some of the lawyers that work for them do that, but they were clearly in the room by telephone, and this is their deal that was on the table today. Out here, I think people have taken the attitude to call us when you're ready to play, whether it's in a few days or whether it's in October. We're pretty much tired of both of you, but I sensed that there was some optimism for a while, and then people just said, just go away, we're tired of you both. But I really think that I may change chairs here now with Scott Morrison, who was optimistic before and isn't now. That I don't see that Gary Bettman has said this is it, that we can't negotiate in the next 2 days. I think there might be a little more movement, and if there is just a little fine-tuning now before Tuesday, I think they can still do it.
Well, I think there's a lot of fine-tuning, a lot of tuning that has to be done, and I'm not sure how fine it is. And I think the owners really rubbed the players' noses in it today, to put it bluntly. I'm not sure that they don't want to see this season shut down on Tuesday and then try to measure the resolve of the players and see just how strong this union is, and whether or not the players can stand up to a total shutdown.
Can they? And this is the big question. Baseball has had deep pockets for a long time. There are 4 members of the NHL ownership group that are in Fortune 400, so there's a lot of money there, and I guess they can go a year without hockey. The question that David Stern would have for Gary Bettman is, in terms of image, is hockey in a position to negate the growth that it was seeing in the United States? You've got to believe that's what they were yelling about for 7 hours today, is can we afford philosophically, if not fiscally, to do this?
Well, I think dollars and cents were a prime piece of business in that room today, and I wonder sometimes, though, Ron, because the Rangers won the Stanley Cup, because Sports Illustrated declared that hockey had caught up to basketball, if we didn't overestimate the real impact hockey has had on the American market. We know where it sits in this country. How much greater can it get? How much greater can basketball get in the American market? Because they have found a niche, and I'm not sure from a fan standpoint that hockey is going to devastate itself by shutting down for the year. I think there are other factors that could come into play, such as rival leagues and players taking a lot of owners to court that could be the real problematic issue.
It's ownership without the privileges. The only way, I mean, the real value of all of this is the worth of your franchise. Peter Pocklington was offered $65 million for the Oilers. He said, no, I'd like $105 million. Goodness knows he's made, according to some executives, as much as $100 million through the 1980s with all those Stanley Cups. Arthur Griffith's gym's invested all this money. He's got the Raptors on the go. He's got a new building, but he doesn't have labor peace, and he doesn't have fan interest, it appears. I mean, what could the value of the Vancouver Canucks be?
Well, that's the question. I mean, if they're willing and their motivation has been to shut this season down all along and break the union, if the union breaks, how many teams go down with it? And I think that you're right, that the ultimate value here, the ultimate asset that the owner has is his franchise. And if Pavel Bure is playing in Europe and Trevor Linden signs on in Houston of the International League and that league grows and there are only 5,400 season tickets out here to watch the best player on the team who used to be the third-line center, what's the value of this franchise then? Nobody knows what happens if this whole thing shuts down. We all know it's going to be a mess, but I think it might be just as devastating for the owners as it is for some players. Not the top players, though, because they'll play.
I'd like to add this, Huey. If you look at the International Hockey League, they're expanding into NHL markets. Los Angeles just added to the list. San Francisco, they're already in Chicago, Detroit. They are causing concerns for NHL owners. They are eliminating their smaller markets. I'm not convinced that there aren't a handful of owners in the National Hockey League who are of the opinion, if we shut down our business and it means we lose Winnipeg, we lose Edmonton, maybe Quebec, then so be it, because we will move into stronger markets.
Thanks to Scott Morrison in Toronto, to Jim Hewson in Vancouver. Coming up next, Chris Cuthbert's in New York City. John Davidson from Madison Square Garden Network will join Chris. We'll have more on the story from the Board of Governors meetings when we continue with Hockey Night's Classics and a look at the NHL labor impasse in a moment.
Introducing the new Mercury Mystique. It has available all-speed traction control, a Micron air filter that removes dust and pollen, and a 24-valve Duratec V6 engine that goes 160,000 kilometers before its first scheduled tune-up. Yet even though Mystique is equipped like a luxury car, it's priced thousands of dollars less. Because the last time we looked, money still didn't grow on trees. Drive the all-new Mercury Mystique.
With 14 flights a week to Tokyo and Nagoya, it's only natural that we've made an impression on this part of the world. Canadian, with better schedules, better destinations, and a better way to get to Asia. That's how the people of Canadian are building a better airline.
A gigantic indoor warehouse sale of new and used vehicles is on now at Surgener Pontiac Buick GMC. Over 650 vehicles are available, more than 150 indoors, all priced for immediate sale. We must reduce our inventory. Shop indoors, get unparalleled savings, great selection, quality cars and trucks. Save at the gigantic indoor warehouse sale on now next to Surgener Pontiac Buick.
How much would they be willing to pay?
How many babies do you figure she's shunting into cribs and selling like puppies? They've charged you with 2 counts of manslaughter.
I stand here before God and know in my heart I've done nothing wrong.
Butterbox Babies, Sunday night on CBC. Jackpot. The news is out. Canada's banks are rolling in dough.
We saw a record year for the banks in 1994.
But just how did the banks make their biggest profits ever? The Money Machine, Sunday night on Venture, right after Sunday Report.
Welcome back to New York. I'm Chris Cuthbert with John Davidson of Madison Square Garden Network. The NHL Board of Governors today rejecting the final proposal from the players, but making a counter proposal of their own. JD, your thoughts on it?
Well, I think right off the top, Chris, I think they put many changes in there. You're looking at 6 or 7 different changes from the previous proposal put forth by the players. That in itself makes it tough to try and get something together by the deadline, which is noon Tuesday. The key issues, I suppose, would be the free agency at 32 years of age, which is just too high. They may settle at 31. The players want it at 30. That definitely is a problem. And I think the reopener, in other words, if it's not a good deal for the owners, they want to reopen the negotiations just on their terms, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me looking at it from the outside.
Do you think there is still some flex point here, although Gary Bettman played down any further negotiation?
Well, when I hear that the players and their people are talking late into the night, I know Gary Bettman's a tired guy after what he went through today. There's a lot of people here that aren't very happy with it, and I think if they ever get a settlement, there'll be very few happy people, period. However, my feeling right now, looking at it the way it is no chance we're going to have a settlement. Perhaps if 1 or 2 items are changed, we may have a settlement, but it does not look, in my mind, very good.
Well, let's talk about some of the unhappy people, because it was a stormy day, and not all the governors turned up tonight. We're told that many of them had planes to catch, but we're also told not everybody's happy.
Well, you find it interesting when the proposal's put forth, and you see people like Toronto not show up, or teams like Toronto not show up, Detroit not show up, St. Louis not show up. These are the teams that want to play hockey, and I don't think they're very happy right now about the way things were put forth once their meeting was finished with. However, they did come out in unity and say that they as a group would go forward with what was in place. But when you start reading things into this, and maybe sometimes you read too much into it, I don't know, but to me, I don't feel very good about it. I don't know if there's enough time to change what they have to change. Both sides are going to have to give to make it work. And remember this, though. No matter what it's been all through these years, the players have always done what's been best for the game. And I was one of them, and I was there when the merger happened with the WHA. Maybe it shouldn't have. But I can tell you this, the players have always tried. They're still trying. I don't know if it's going to be enough to close this gap, however.
Let's push this to noon Tuesday, and if everything stays as it is, and you're right on the mark, they turn it down, season's over. What happens then?
Oh, nobody even wants to think about it. I've been able to, check around at some things. The International Hockey League right now is sitting in a very precarious in a situation where they're looking at this going, man, we have a chance if this season's cut down. Watch out. We're into all the major markets in the United States. They have a 6-team league perhaps going to join them from Europe. Well, that gives them international hockey ahead of the NHL. The NBA that owns teams in cities like Orlando also own the IHL team, and they're in San Francisco, they're in Los Angeles, they're in Orlando, they're in Chicago, they're in Detroit. They'll get into New York if they have to and want to. And I look 6, 8, 10 years down the road. If this league shuts down, that league may be the better of the 2 leagues a decade from now. And I don't want to see that, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. Critical 72 hours ahead, and we'll have more from New York. Thanks to John Davidson. Right behind us, we've got Brian Burke and Jeffrey Pash going through the owner's proposal, but right now we're going back to Ron.
Thanks, Chris, very much. As I say, 94, 95, who'd have thought this would be the dark ages with respect to hockey? One thing is certain, we're not a very agreeable society right now. You look at Chechnya and Russia, you look at the former Yugoslavia, you look at a referendum in Quebec. It's tough times managing with current concepts in 1995, and we're going to have to get better at it. There's no doubt about that. Hockey could have been a beacon, but it's a reflection of society. And I've always said we're not here to see through each other, to see each other through. I hope you fellas get the message by noon on Tuesday. 3-1, the Boston Bruins clinging to a 2-goal lead versus Montreal, May 10, 1979. Happier times when we come back on Hockey Night Classics after this.
Only one minivan store has sold over 4 million minivans. Only one store was first to offer both dual airbags and side impact beams on a minivan built here in Canada. And now, only one store gives you Canada's best-selling minivan with air, automatic, V6 engine, 7-passenger seating, and more for only $18,888. Only at the original minivan store.
Excuse me, how did Rice Krispies cereal get its name?
The rice part comes from the fact that
the inventor was named Rice.
So you think that Rice Krispies is named Rice Krispies because the inventor's name was Rice?
Yep.
That's your final answer?
Uh-huh. Yep.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. It seems some of you still haven't heard that each Kellogg's Rice Krispies is made with a real grain of wholesome rice. So if you're one of those people, we'd like to ask our usual question. What the heck did you think it was made with?
I thought they got them done.
Take advantage of great savings on great brand names.
We're celebrating the Bay's 325th anniversary with 50% savings on our exclusive anniversary sleep sets, like the Beaumart Chiro Pocket, Firm Comfort, twin set, $499. And Sealy Posturepedic with Pillow Top Comfort, twin set, $699. Or Simmons Beauty Rest Flush Comfort, twin set, $749. Great selection guaranteed.
At Regency Hair Center in Ottawa, we have been solving hair loss problems for more than 25 years. Call us today.
Are you tired of losing your hair? Are you tired of being bald, not feeling good about yourself? At Regency Hair Center, we've seen and treated every conceivable hair loss problem.
Why wait any longer? We know we can help you. Come and see what we can do for you. Call us now for your free consultation at 1-800-567-5587.
Just to finish up developments today from New York and now Toronto, here's what the PA have said in response to the owners' rejection of their final offer. Bob Goodenow and the bargaining committee are studying the NHL proposal, which they received earlier this evening. At this point in time, there is no further comment and no plans for a comment in the near future. The NHL has said noon Tuesday is firm. No further authorization needed to cancel the season. Dick, I get frustrated watching this great past about the present, but to heck with it. This is television and no one's health's at risk, so let's have some fun with Montreal trying to get out of the trouble they're in. What goes on?
Back to what we would like to be reality today, but we have to go back to 1979. I mentioned gloom and doom in the forum at the end of the second period. There's a little bit of it around live tonight. Nevertheless, we will go back to our hockey game just to set it up again. Game 7, Montreal facing elimination. The defending Stanley Cup champions. They're down 3-1. The Bruins leading the Canadians as we go back to the Montreal forum. 14:58 remaining in regulation time. The Bruins leading 3-1.
And the attendance.